Welcome back to the Express in Stanley Park, where TUTs, the 66th season, is featuring the Tony Award winners, The Music Man, and Titanic, the new musical. But speaking, not singing, of sinking ships, have you ever wanted to explore a shipwreck? Scuba divers, they are a particular breed of adventurer. They will travel for miles and miles for that perfect dive. But in this next story, we'll meet two Port Alberni divers that didn't have to.
Snug flippers, full tanks, and clear valves. It's all part of the preparation for a dive, a shore dive with no floating boats involved. As the divers prepare to explore a former migrant ship sunk as an artificial reef off Seashart Lodge on Vancouver Island's Barkley Sound.
Anytime I can dive a wreck off the shore is a real bonus, and there's not a lot you can do that with. We're fortunate that there's two so close, so definitely a solid 8 or 9.
The two shore-accessible wrecks are both deliberately sunk artificial reefs. One at China Creek just outside of Port Alberni, and this one, which at 100 feet in length is by far the larger of the two.
I don't know, take a couple more dives to see exactly how big it is. I don't think we saw the whole ship. It's upright, about 65 to 110 feet. Within recreational limits, it's a great dive. Lots of life on the boat. It's covered with anemone and starfish, tons of fish. It was great.
Just to see all the different areas that you can poke your head in and take a look around, it's neat to do a hull penetration and just sort of look around inside. All the growth that takes place on wreck after it's sunk. Can't stay down long enough to explore it all is the big thing.
And perhaps one of the most surprising finds for these two local divers was the discovery not just of the wreck, but of the whole Broken Island area just a few hours from their doorstep.
Much more out here than you would think. I was really impressed by the wreck. I'd love to dive it again and check it all out. I've lived in Port Alberni most of my life, and I've never been out this way, so that was something. Anytime I can go in off the shore, I'm a happy guy. So yeah, always good.
Yeah, it was great. I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
The easiest way to reach Seashart Lodge is by taking the Francis Barkley from Port Alberni. For more information, visit www.ladyrosemarine.com. For Shaw TV's Big Summer, in the Broken Island Group, I'm Nancy Wilmot.
The west coast of Vancouver Island is stocked with rock reefs and shipwrecks. You can also find some great dive hotspots near the Gulf Islands and along the Sunshine Coast. As for here on the mainland, I'm not too sure. So if you know about some gems, please tweet us at the Express Van. One thing we do know about, Success. It's one of the largest social service agencies in Vancouver, and one of the most successful programs is the Youth Leadership Millennium.
These high school students are practicing the outdoor skills necessary to survive and thrive in the wilderness. They are participating in the Youth Leadership Millennium program, focusing today on the outdoor component.
The Youth Leadership Millennium program is a 6-month program that we run. It's easy for me to say, teach them leadership skills, but it's so much more than that. They learn how to work in a team. Right now what we're doing with the expedition training, it's not just a matter of bringing a heavy backpack up to the top of a mountain. It's learning how to work with other people and finding the best ways to do what you need to do. And that's, I think, really what the program is doing.
I think it just helps you build you as a person, and it makes you more independent, and you really have to commit to this program to really succeed in it.
The students today are learning the cooking and preparation skills that will help them on the overnight hiking trip they're taking as a team. And the session ends with a debrief led by Anthony.
What went well that you didn't think it would go so well?
He's actually a really great leader because he knows when to be funny and when to be serious, and he's not too strict or too nice, and he teaches us a lot of things that help us in the future.
The Youth Leadership Millennium program has been running since 1998, with about 40 participants every year. This program is made possible by the social service agency Success and by support from groups like Shaw.
Leadership is something that is learned, and the learning never ends.
With this sponsorship, we can help young people, especially those who are unable to afford the program, so that no one would be barred from having the opportunity to learn and to be nurtured to be future leaders.
Okay, so like usual, we're going to go through things that we did and pick out the things that we did well. It's true that Success runs this program, but without contributions from the community and groups like Shaw, we wouldn't be able to run this program. The costs do add up for the participants, and especially for the low-income families. Without those contributions, they wouldn't be able to participate.
And participating in the Youth Leadership Millennium Program, which focuses on getting youth involved in their community, has made all the difference for these students.
It really helps the youth in our community to know more about the community. We're, sometimes we're secluded in the school and we don't know really what's going on out there in the world. And this allows us to take part in what's going on.
We can't change who people are, but what we can do is teach them, this is the world and this is how we can interact with it. And these are the skills you can take to whoever you are, be yourself, but this is how you can work together with everyone else.
In Vancouver, I'm Kendall Harris for The Express.
If you'd like to participate in the Youth Leadership Millennium Program, or you know a high school student that might be interested, the website to get more information is successylm.org. You're watching The Express, and we have more from the Music Man here at TUTs, plus these adventures coming up.
When they think of fossils, they think of dinosaurs.
Quality assured collision road trip to Courtney.
It's a lot of fun.
Jet boating in Whistler. The Express. We are your local voice.
The Express is brought to you in part by Plum, fashion supplier to host Johanna Ward.
Welcome back to The Express. This summer, we have dinosaurs in Victoria, ancient shipwrecks in Port Alberni, and 2 musicals set in 1912 here at TUTs in the Malkin Bowl in Vancouver. So, do you care to dig a little deeper? Today's Quality Assured Collision Road Trip to Courtney shows us the where and the why that anyone can be an amateur paleontologist this summer.
Travel along with us as we explore the many marvelous attractions and activities of beautiful British Columbia on the Quality Assured Collision Road Trip.
Inside this rock lies a hidden treasure, a glimpse into the past, what kind of creatures lived on planet Earth 80 million years ago. On today's road trip, we'll travel to Comox Valley to find out why it's a great place to start your Great Canadian Fossil Hunt. This old brick building on 4th Street in downtown Courtney is where the Courtney and District Museum and Paleontology Center is. It's where you'll find hundreds of samples of fossils, with plant life to giant sea creatures.
And most people think about, when they think of fossils, they think of dinosaurs. Land animals, those large, big land animals. And nobody's found any dinosaurs on Vancouver Island yet. What we find are marine reptiles, ocean-going lizards. And some of them were huge.
Millions of years ago, this part of Vancouver Island was underwater. The ancient seafloor is gradually being exposed, revealing creatures frozen in the rocks.
So you can see part of that ammonite there. The first marine vertebrate ever to be discovered on Vancouver Island was a turtle, parts of a turtle, in the local river in 1985. 1988, my brother Mike and his daughter Heather found the elasmosaur. 1991, my brother was leading a field trip, and one of the students, his name was Josanne Bilowitz, discovered a mosasaur, the tail sticking out of a cliff. It took us 2 years to dig that thing out. The scientists didn't realize that these large animals were preserved in the rocks on Vancouver Island, so it became sort of a big deal for paleontology and the traveling public.
It's estimated the Paleontology Center has over 10,000 specimens in its collection.
There's some interesting ammonites. There's also the shelled animals, the clams, the snails, the crabs. We find shark's teeth, fishes, saber-toothed salmon.
You can learn a lot from the displays in the museum.
He's swimming around the fish.
But if you come here between April and August, the museum leads guided tours to the Puntledge and Trent rivers.
And so they built that bridge all around our trail. They didn't touch it.
As winter runoff decreases, the eroding shale banks give up the preserved specimens.
The summertime is when it really erodes, when the sun comes out. because it expands with the heat. Some of these corners, it can get up to like 30 degrees, 40 degrees Celsius. Some of the rocks, you go to pick them up and they're hot. You can't even pick them up, they're so hot. I've taken thousands and thousands of people down to the river to actually look for fossils. It's experiential science. You're experiencing it. You're not just reading it from a book. You're actually doing it. And when you go down to the river and you have to use a hammer and a chisel, wearing goggles to protect your eyes, and you're chipping away at the rocks, it gives it time. That excitement, that thrill, and the fact that the layperson, this is one of the few sciences that a person, a normal person, could make a major discovery in a weekend.
You can take common fossil samples home with you, but if it's a rare find, the fossil will remain in the Courtney Museum as property of the province, but your name would go in the history books as the person who discovered it.
This is just the tip of the iceberg for what is going to be discovered in the future. There's a lot more animals out there to be discovered. They just haven't been seen yet. And the more people we teach about what's out there, the more eyes you're going to have on
Right
it.
here.
The more discoveries that are going to be made.
The fossil tours are extremely popular, and this renewed interest in paleontology has sparked a movement to have BC declare an official fossil.
The elasmosaur is one of the candidates, and I sure hope it wins. It, I think, has been the driving force between science and the amateur community. It is what brought a lot of the earth scientists together and the amateurs together.
I think it would be awesome if the elasmosaur, this giant, fierce, prehistoric marine reptile, became BC's provincial fossil. I'm definitely going to write to the Ministry of Agriculture and try and persuade him to add the swan lizard to the official symbols of British Columbia. For Quality Assured Collision Road Trip, I'm Annette Lucas.
Entertaining and informative, the Quality Assured Collision Road Trip. Weekends on Shaw TV. Always something new and exciting.
Digging for mysteries in the dirt or hot dogging on the water? What would you prefer? It's time to check back in with Nicole Fitzgerald in Whistler Village. So you're going to take us jet boating. We want to know what part you like the best.
I think getting a chance to talk with the pilot. Eric Pahota's been running the Green River for 20 years. And not only that, he's a mountain man that has made many first ascents in BC. So a trip with Whistler jet boating is as much about the people as it is the adrenaline rush.
I call it the study of the hydrology. Knowing what's going on, what's happening on the surface, tells me what's underneath on the base of the river.
After 20 years of running the Green River in Pemberton, spending 100 to 120 days a year getting to know every corner, the only thing stronger than the water's current is Eric Pahota's passion for jet boating.
Every trip is different. So the water levels change. At a certain level, there's one move where I actually have to throw the boat on edge sideways to get it through two rocks, else we're hitting bottom. It's like flying an airplane at low altitude through a tight canyon. There's just no room for air. So it really takes 110% of my concentration on every time I'm running up there. 4 buckles.
1 part merman, 1 part speed junkie. This rally car driver hosts 1-hour jet boat tours leaving the meadows at Pemberton Golf Course every summer. Eric first eases his guests into the tour with easy cruising Grade 1 waters.
We're actually going to head downriver for a couple kilometers to the confluence of the Lillooet and the Green River. Kind of neat. It's a very dramatic contrast in the colors of the two rivers. There's no dams or reservoirs on this system. It's what we call a free-flowing river. Okay, there's no dikes or roads or anything on this section, so we're going to be the only boat out here.
But not the only heartbeat.
The nest we're looking at up here on the top of the big Douglas fir tree, that's an osprey nest.
Birds, beavers, and bears are not an unusual sight here on the water.
There's been a big male bear just hanging out upriver. Yesterday we were sitting here, a nice river otter swam right across in front of us.
Add hunter and world-class mountaineer to Eric's never-ending portfolio. And from that comes tales about the changing landscapes flying by, like BC's highest vertical relief.
This is one of my favorite viewpoints of Mount Currie, which is the peak off to our left here.
In 1987, this ski legend made the first descent on this 8,000-foot tall summit.
It's been a big part of my life, this mountain. I've skied it over 20 times, and yeah, it's totally respect it. One of the top 50 classic ski descents in North America.
What was once ice and snow now feeds the Green River Canyon, where whitewater shifts this rip-roaring time into full speed at Nairn Falls Provincial Park.
And there might be a little humidity coming over the windscreen of the boat in the form of H2O, 40-degree clean Green River water. So I hope you're not afraid of a little cold water. Whistler jet boating, it's not like Disneyland here. There's definitely no strings attached.
You can see why they call this the Green River Thriller. You definitely want to hang on as you enter the last leg of this trip, leading up to the entranceway at Nairn Falls. It's the end of the line, so if you want to explore this 200-foot tall waterfalls, you got to do so on foot.
We run some pretty solid grade 3 plus whitewater, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's really exciting.
Both for guests and their host. From Pemberton, I'm Nicole Fitzgerald for Shaw TV.
Everybody's in one boat for this trip and no skill set is required, so it's perfect for families. You can book online at whistlerjetboating.com. For more things to do around the sea to sky, Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley, here's the 411 on our FYI.
Radar's Quality Assured Collisions FYI is presented by Radar's Quality Assured Collision, an ICBC Valet accredited repair facility.
Wear your red, white, and maple and celebrate Canada Fest at Canada Place Saturday, August 4th. This Friday, July 20th, is the 10th annual Perlator Tackle Hunger Food Drive in partnership with the Grey Cup defending BC Lions. The Your Continent Richmond International Film and Media Arts Festival runs July 19th to 22nd at various venues in Richmond.
Radar's Quality Assured Collisions FYI was presented by Radar's Quality Assured Collision.
And of course, the 66th season of Theatre Under the Stars, presenting The Music Man and Titanic, the new musical, running all summer long here at the Malkin Bowl in Stanley Park. You can also register now online at TUTs.ca for their new youth summer musical theatre programs. We're going to leave you with one more timeless song. Thanks for watching The Express, only on Shaw TV.
Mothers of River City, heed the warning before it's too late. Watch for the telltale signs of corruption. When your son leaves the house, does he rebuckle his knickerbockers below the knee? Trouble! Is there a nicotine stain on his index finger? Trouble! A dime novel hidden in the corn crib? Trouble! Is he memorizing jokes out of Captain Billy's whiz-bang? Trouble! Are certain words creeping into his conversation? Words like swell, trouble, and so's your old man? Trouble! If so, my friends, you got trouble! Oh, we got trouble! Right here in River City! Right here in River City! With a capital T, and that rhymes with B, and that stands for pool! That stands for pool! We surely got trouble! We surely got trouble! Right here in River City! Right here! Remember the Maine, Plymouth Rock, and the Golden Rule? Our children's children! Oh, we got trouble! We got lots and lots of trouble!